the S&P 500 closed down below 5,000 for the first time in almost a year, following Tuesday, April 8th volatile session and a strong morning rally as investor hopes faded for any imminent US delays or concessions on tariffs ahead of a midnight deadline. After stocks doubled at their fastest pace since the pandemic in the last 3 years, investors showed some signs of hope early in the day that President Donald Trump would soften his stance or postpone an April 9 deadline for tariffs. But White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said on Tuesday afternoon that Trump expects tariffs will go into effect while nearly 70 countries have reached out looking to begin negotiations to reduce the impact of U.S. trade policies. Chief Market Strategist at Clearnomics in New York, Lindsay Bell, said market participants were optimistic this morning that we would get some sort of sign that we're moving closer to a deal or a compromise with some of these bigger countries, or that there will be a delay coming given that so many people wanted to negotiate. The White House said on Tuesday afternoon that it expects more tariffs on China to go into effect on April 9th. This was after China had said earlier it will never accept the blackmail nature of the US to Trump's threat to ratchet up tariffs on Chinese imports to more than 100%. And United States Trade Representative Jamieson Greer said earlier that exemptions to the global tariffs are not expected in the near term.
Despite their best efforts to hang on to gains that lasted the majority of the day, markets ended up closing negative in the red again. Pretty much across the board, and investor optimism that we saw this morning and overnight last night about potentially having some deals happening in the background regarding tariffs with our trading partners. Despite those efforts, markets couldn't hang on to gains. Investors got a little bit nervous as the day went on, likely expecting that some of the news out of China in particular was not going to be positive as we head into April 9th and the retaliatory tariffs coming online at 12:01 in the morning on April 9th, which is tomorrow. The level of uncertainty in the marketplace certainly is high right now. It's important for investors to remember that this is an event that is a man-made crisis. Ostensibly, it could be a man-made correction of some sorts. We saw that a little bit yesterday when the NASDAQ moved 1,400 points on the rumor of an announcement that maybe there was going to be a pause. So there is still a lot of movement. Investors' fingers are on the buy or the sell button based on what the longevity of tariffs ends up looking like. And it's important to put this within context. While it is an uncertain period of time, nobody knows what the next move of the administration is going to be.
All right, now let's take a look at the latest overview of the S&P 500 index as of this morning. And as you can see, mostly it shows a red of color and some spots of green. And red means losses and green means gains. And I'm going to start with Meta. And Meta shows a red color here, and it was down and decreased by 1.12%. And the stock prices stood at 510.45, and the same sector under the communication service is Google. It was down by 1.78%, and the stock price is at 146.58. But the latest update on Meta Platforms is rolling out its teen accounts feature to Facebook and Messenger on Tuesday as it faces sustained criticism about not doing enough to protect young users from online harms. And Meta's expansion of safety measures for teens comes as some lawmakers say they plan to press ahead with proposed legislation such as the Kids Online Safety Act, KOSA, seeking to protect children from social media harms. Meta, ByteDance's TikTok, and Google's YouTube already face hundreds of lawsuits filed on behalf of children and school districts about the addictive nature of social media. And in 2023, 33 U.S. states, including California and New York, sued for the company misleading the public about the dangers of its platforms. And Meta said teens under 16 will require parental permission before they can go live and disable a feature that automatically blurs images potentially containing nudity in direct messages, and that's on Meta. But moving on to automotive, Tesla, it shows a sort of red color as well, and it was was down by 4.90%, and the stock price is stood at 221.86, and that's on Tesla. But the same sector, we have Home Depot and some other sectors as well. For Ford, for automotive, it was down by 5.95, and stock prices is 8.69. And meanwhile, for GM, General Motors, it was down as well, decreased by 2.41%, and the stock price is 42.48. But for the latest updates on Tesla, it was supercharger station was damaged in Lacey, Washington on Tuesday, according to local police and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And the impacted Tesla supercharger station, which is located at 665 Slater Kinney Road, comprises 12 superchargers, each capable of delivering up to 250 kilowatt of power, according to the company's website. And Electric, which first reported the development, said the explosion led to a temporary shutdown of the charging station. And Reuters could not independently verify if there was explosion. Then the company said on Tesla Charging X page that it was on site with the Lacey Police Department and the FBI, and Tesla was coordinating with Washington's energy utility company Puget Sound Energy to bring back the superchargers online. And moving on to Broadcom, the semiconductors of Broadcom, it's the only green color here under the semiconductors. It was up by 1.23%, and the stock price is 156.03. But as you can see here, Nvidia, sort of a red color here, was down by 1.37%, and the stock price is 96.30. And the same goes to other sectors under semiconductor. But for Broadcom, the latest update is Broadcom said on Monday it was launching a new share of buyback program of up to $10 billion set to run through the end of the year, sending its shares up nearly 3% in extended trading. And CEO Hock Tan said the move reflects confidence in Broadcom's semiconductor and infrastructure software franchises, particularly its position in artificial intelligence-related investments. And shares of Palo Alto, California-based Broadcom, which has a market value of about $724.76 billion, closed about 5% higher on Monday, snapping a two-day losing streak amid US President Donald Trump's tariff announcement. And Broadcom, which supplies semiconductors to Apple last month, forecast strong second quarter revenue and hinted about new potential customers that could boost revenue in a highly competitive market. And the chip maker is seeing a red-hot demand for its custom AI chips from cloud computing companies looking for an alternative to the costly processors designed by Nvidia.